So today I'm going to talk about the xenophobia attacks in South Africa. Um, my message here is not to cause chaos or bring division among people, but whatever that is going on, let us try not to generalize that all South Africans hate other fellow Africans. It's not true. So let me just make a statement. Just like when it comes to racism, you cannot say some people they have racist traits. And I'll tell you this, when it comes with racism itself is something that is being taught. Nobody was born racist. Racism is something that is being taught to people for many generations and people fed on. Nobody gets up and discriminates just like that. It starts from somewhere. And every discrimination stuff started with a history. I want to say this. I want to tell South African that I see every South African as my brothers and sisters. And I want to tell you this. I'm an African patriot. You can put me in that label of a Pan-Africanist, of course. Yes, I believe in African unity. I believe in the well-being of Africa. And I don't fight for only my country of origin. I fight for the whole of Africa. And I don't have to come from a specific African geographical location for me to relate or to call them a family. So, a brief introduction. Welcome to my podcast. This is Reggie Kwabena Deschamps Mills. I am a Ghanaian Sierra Leonean. That's all you should know. I'm a Ghanaian Sierra Leonean. My mom is Ghanaian. My dad is Ghanaian Sierra Leonean. So I'm a Ghanaian Sierra Leonean. And apart from that, giving you my nationality, I am an African. That's one thing you should know. I am an African. And anywhere in Africa, I feel at home. So this xenophobia attack, people don't know that is something that have been passed down through generations. Something that have been passed through generations. And this xenophobia attack, it didn't just start with, South Africans. If you look down to other African histories, there was a time, I'll tell you this. When you go back to the olden days, during the time of President Buzia in Ghana, there was a time President Buzia was kicking out Nigerians and Liberians out of Ghana. And this topic is sensitive. Some people will not like when I talk about issues like this. There was a time the Ghanaian government kicked out Nigerians and Liberians from Ghana, all because they such people like that, they are not enlightened. They have a mindset that, this specific African group have come to destroy our economy, blah, 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 which I don't support it. Anywhere in Africa that you feel at home and you want to start life, you are welcome to be. But at the same time too, when you talk, we are not encouraging illegal immigrations. You understand? We are not saying that illegal should come to somebody's country. No. If you want to come to somebody's country, as we said, come the right way. You understand? Make sure you follow the procedures before you go to a country. You don't just wake up and intrude into somebody's country. You understand? I don't endorse illegal immigration. Every African have every right to go to whatever country in Africa they feel at home, or whatever African country they want to build life in. Now, South Africa, I want to remind you something, that the same Nigerian people you hate on, that same Nigerian people contribute to the apartheid. When the Muzungu or Oyibo came to your land, strip you of your land, steal your resources, took whatever that belongs to the South Africans, nobody had your back than Nigerians and other Africans, and even Afro-Cubans contributed to the apartheid. Afro-Cuban, Fidel Castro and co. These are things they're not going to tell you. There are many African people who stand with South Africans against apartheid. But if you are saying these xenophobia attacks has to do with illegal immigrations, if you want to fight against something, violence is not the answer to it, South Africans. South Africans, violence is not how you solve a problem. And let me tell you this xenophobia attack, it is wrong. It's not justifiable. It doesn't matter whether the people came there illegal or not. And some of you may claim that Ghanaians and Nigerians come to South Africa and steal you of your privileges, your jobs. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something in life. The reason why sometimes a citizen of a country blame immigrants for a problem is that you are not willing to work a specific job, but the immigrant is willing to work that job, and it doesn't matter. So far that job is good and it can help them better their life, immigrants don't really care. The immigrants' mindset is, I want to make it true. I'm in the US here. I come from a family of immigrants. We are taught how to be resilient. We are taught how to be hardworking people. We are taught that we should not depend on the system. No matter what happened, even when system deny us privileges, we have to soar higher. So sometimes when we are blaming immigrants for a problem, it is not the immigrants who are the problem. It's rather the citizens of a country. Immigrants are not always a problem, but it's the citizens. If you have opportunities and privileges in a country and you don't make use of it, other foreign nationals who comes to a country and see the use of their privileges and opportunities, they make good use of it. Now, South Africa, xenophobia is wrong. Hate crime among Africans is wrong. I bleed the same blood as you. We are all Africans, but sometimes I'll tell you, we are not different. But at the same time, we might be different based on maybe true cultural lens, maybe true tribe. Yes, when you see me right now, if I didn't tell you my nationality, you automatically you see me as an African, you see me as your own. Understand? But at the same time, too, I want to tell you that sometimes to a country we belong to, it means nothing, because I'll take you deep into history. When there was no Ghana, no Nigeria, no Liberia, no Angola, or no African country, we had kingdoms. And some Southern African kingdoms can extend from South Africa, Zimbabwe to other Southern African countries. And in West Africa, I'll tell you this, there's a tribe in Ghana known as the Ghan people, and they have ties to Ile-Ife in Nigeria. And I'll tell you this, we have some Ghanaian people whose ancestral background traces straight to Nigeria. And we have some Nigerians too. If you look at the Akwa Ibom people, the Ibiobo or the Efik people, some of them, during the olden days, some of their kingdom goes far to the eastern part of Ghana. So, let me tell you, so you find an Efik person with the name Asian. Asian too is a common name in Ghana among a tribe known as Fanti. You find Nigerian called Asian, you find a Ghanaian called Asian. That's the ancestral link. Some Ghanaian name you find among Nigerians, you find among Ghanaians, the same thing. So, I'll tell you this, sometimes to what you call countries is sometimes in our mind, that's what separates us. But we are all the same people. We are the same people, but there might be a little bit difference based on culture and languages. But that doesn't mean that it's something bad. Diversity is beautiful. That's why when you talk about race issue, even race itself, there's diversity. That's why when you look at a European, you find English, you find German, you find Norwegian. Like there's different type of European. That shows how diverse Europe is. When it comes with Africans, we are diverse in our tribal lengths, where the tribe we are from, our country we are from. That's diversity. But right now, you see how, look, I will find a sister somewhere in Africa who look like me. Until I hear her accent or the way she speak, then I'll know that, oh, she's from a different place in Africa. But pretty much, when I see a sister who looks like me, I don't even think of anything else. But what I see is we are the same people. We are all Africans. So my point is, South Africans, xenophobia is not the answer. You don't solve a problem like this through violence. Violence is not the answer, South Africans. And I want to condemn this. And let me tell you this. We need to be honest to people. South Africans think they are doing the right thing. But I want to tell them that what you may see as right is we are rather harming people, and it's rather wrong. You can fight against illegal immigrations. We are not encouraging, illegal immigrants to come to a country to do things that will do damage to society. We are not encouraging that. We are saying that there's a way you deal with stuff like this. If it's illegal immigrations, as you are claiming, that is making you do this xenophobia attacks, there's a way to solve this issue. Even with illegal immigrants, there's a way to solve this issue. Violence is not the answer. And excuse my language, you got this punk in South Africa making statement that forget about what the South Africa government is saying. You need to leave by a specific time. Let me tell you something. You don't have enough brotherly love for your own brother. South Africans, why do you hate your fellow Africans? Why have you allowed yourself for Muzungu or Oibo to channel his nonsense on you? The Western world have found many ways to separate Africans. But we have some African people, they are rather representative of what the West is doing. And this South African problem, as I said, I'm against any form of oppression. I want to make this clear. I have nothing against European people. I have nothing against Muzungus or Igbo. Human beings are human beings. But when it comes to oppressive system and a system of injustice, irrespective of color, irrespective of the country you're from, irrespective of tribe, injustice and oppression is wrong, and we fight against any system that oppresses people. That's what we stand against. And South Africa, xenophobia is not the answer to illegal immigration. We say enough is enough. We stand with our fellow Ghanaians, we stand with our Nigerian brothers, we stand with other African people who are going through brutal treatments of xenophobia attack in South Africa. And South Africa, we know we have some South Africans who stand against xenophobia attack. We know it's not all South Africans who are like this. But South Africans, I don't have nothing against you. I'm an African just like you, and I love you. When you're hungry, I don't mind to give you food. When you are thirsty, I don't mind to give you water. But South Africans, let me be honest with you. It's hard time you talk to your brothers and sisters who are promoting this xenophobia nonsense, causing damage to South African society. Let me tell you, before any immigration even begin, first of all, I want to tell you that there are people who are patriots to their country. But sometimes too, patriotism at some points means nothing if you are going through a system that strips you of a privileges that's meant for you. So sometimes immigration issues you might not understand. Sometimes too you might not know their country that they are in. They are scared for their life. Sometimes too they are just seeking for greener pastures to go to a specific country just to figure life out. And when they make it through, they will come back to their original country of origin and contribute to every society. So South Africans, please, xenophobia is wrong and it should be condemned. And if you are not a South African and you're also an African who endorsed this xenophobia attack, then I have to tell you something, that you are not helping the African brothers and sisters. You are rather also contributing to the damage of you are rather sponsoring oppression. You are rather supporting what you call terrorism, and it needs to stop right here. South Africans, you don't hate your brothers and sisters. You love your own. And it's so sad. South Africans love Muzungu. South Africans love Oyibo. And let me tell you that those descendants of the Dutch and whatever European settlers in South Africa, when you look at history, what damage do they not cause in South African history? Dark skin, black skin South Africans who are in South African land were robbed of their land, robbed of resources. And I've not been to South Africa, but I have people who are from South Africa. And I'll tell you this, and based on my research and based on my interaction with other South Africans, do you know what they tell me? They tell me about the condition of black South Africans. And it's horrible. They are in their own land, but they don't have privileges and resources as a native South African should have. But rather the Muzungu have gained it all. Hijack their economy, take whatever that belongs to them. Xenophobia attack is wrong. Just like what happened in the olden days between the Busia government and in Nigeria, Ghana must go issue 2. Wrong is wrong. Illegal immigrations happen everywhere in the world, but there's a wise way to solve these issues. Solving illegal immigration doesn't come with violence or being brutal to people or being inhumane to people. There's a way to tackle illegal immigration. South Africa, you need to wake up. You always preach Ubuntu. You always preach we are one. South Africans always preach African unity. And listen to the South African national anthem. It says, God bless Africa. So South Africa, why? Upon what Nigerians and other Africans did for you in the apartheid, stand with you, Afro-Cuban, other African diasporan, other African people sitting with you and fight against apartheid, yet you choose to treat people who stand with you when in your darkest moment, you treat them like they are not human beings. You give them inhumane treatment. Xenophobia is wrong. Racism is wrong. Any system that has to do with oppression, discrimination, making human beings feel inhumane, any system that is to cripple people, to cause damage to society is wrong. And it's high time we speak against any Babylonian institutes. Babylonian institutes that channel discrimination, racism, and people not feeling like human beings. We are against such system. And for me, I tell you, I'm not a punk. I'm not scared of saying the truth. But today is Monday, and today I'm talking about the xenophobia attack issue. Africa unites. Enough is enough. My next video is on Thursday. On Thursday, we'll be talking about the brainwashing of the African woman. The reason why African women don't feel beautiful, and they have the mindset that anything that is lighter or anything that is European looking is beautiful. I'm going to talk about that subject. And I want to understand is that there's difference between enlightening people and spreading hatred. There's difference. I'm not spreading hatred. I'm spreading love, and I'm calling a spade a spade. I'm calling what is wrong wrong. So my podcast here, people might not understand, but I'm just speaking the gospel truth of what is happening in the African society. So please, those who are thinking in a myopic way, on a way of unreason, please don't come my podcast here and talk gibberish. understand where I'm coming from. Stuff like this, we need to talk about it. Let us not pretend nothing happened. Let us talk about stuff like this. It's hard time we educate people and bring love and unity and peace among an African communities in an African country and among we Africans. We need to talk subjects like that because we don't realize what damages it's causing to people. South Africa. I love you as my brothers and sisters, but xenophobia attack is a no-no. We speak against any form of Babylonian institute that sponsors terrorism, that sponsors inhumane brutality and violence. We are against system like that. We are against it. We support love, unity, and peace. And I want to make this statement that you South African claim that you believe in God. Yes. Let me make this statement. You said you believe in God. No problem. But you have to understand that doesn't God teaches you to be peacemakers, to be in brotherly and sisterly love with your fellow brothers and sisters? Don't the same scripture teaches you as South Africans, and not only South Africans, let me say this Africans in general, to love one another. So how can you claim you are an African and hate a fellow African? And as for tribalism issue too, I'll come there too. Tribalism is a whole African issue. It's like a pandemic issue. I'll talk about that too. So my podcast is Mondays and Thursdays. So please stay tuned. Please support my podcast. Let the truth go out there. Today my message is supposed to be on. My message, I was supposed to talk about something else, but now I cannot breathe again. I have to talk about this xenophobia issue. Because if I don't say nothing and my voice is not being heard, I know that I have something to say. But if I don't say anything, the damage will be worse than that. So I need to say something about it. So South Africans, as I said, listen, never misquote me. I'm not encouraging illegal immigration. I'm not encouraging tyrants or people who are acting like bandits. No, I'm not encouraging, any system that is bad system. No. All I'm saying is that you said it's illegal. You said this is a xenophobia attack. You said it's illegal immigration. And I'm making you understand that if it's illegal immigration, there's a way to solve this in love and peace and unity. It's not violence. Don't you get it? I'm pissed. I'm very, very pissed. South Africans, you need to do better. The Ubuntu South Africans you are preaching, we are one. What are you preaching? Are you still preaching the Ubuntu? Is Ubuntu slaughtering your brothers and sisters? Is Ubuntu acting inhumane among your brothers and sisters? That's not Ubuntu. That's not the love or philosophy of Ubuntu. Ubuntu means we are together. We should love one another. South Africans, why do you allow yourself to let enough hate, enough bitterness, enough evil? Why do you allow such thing in your heart to harm your brothers and sisters? I'll tell you this, any form of hate, any form of discrimination, any form of inhumane brutality issue, any form of that, it is sickness. Hatred is poison. If you are not careful, it damages the human spirits. So in this 21st century, let us love one another as Africans. Enough is enough. South Africa, put an end to this xenophobia attack. If you guys are not going to put an end to xenophobia attack, then you should know that some of us, we are born already. And when I mean some of us are born already, some of us have the spirit of Steve Biko and Nelson Mandela and of the leaders who stand against injustice. Some of us have the spirit in us. And we are going to spread that message in love. And when we spread it in love, we will fight against stuff like this. Listen, you guys need to put a stop to that. You guys need to do better. You are in 21st century. We are in a civilized world. Don't behave like people who have a mindset of an uncivilized era. Please, enough is enough. South Africans, you need to do better. As I said, South Africans, I don't hate you. I love you. But wrong is wrong. I'm not speaking in favor of nobody. Same way if a Nigerian mess up, I'll speak against it. Same as a Ghanaian mess up, I'll speak against it. Same as another African person who mess up and I'll speak against it. I don't favor no African. Wrong is wrong.